Hi, welcome to Healing Humanity. My name is Dina, and I want to answer a question that's come up a couple different times over the last week. It says, do you think underestimation fuels you? Like after everything that I've gone through, is being underestimated what actually drives me? Nope. What's driven me, and I'll be brutally honest, is the injustice that I have suffered, is the lack of privacy in a country that should be. These kinds of things, our internet, our phones, they should be locked down. Nobody else should have access to those. I don't care what apps you've developed. You don't have access. You shouldn't have access to my personal information, my bank account, my passwords, my unlock code for my phone, my computer, my camera, my microphone. What's driven me is the lack of humanity that I have found in this world, in the states that I have been in the countries that I know are involved, including our country. That's what drives me. The lack of empathy for the situation has been immense. The lack of humanity has been even bigger. And I say that at a time where peace was really what my goal was. And I waited for somebody to do the right thing. I waited quietly, respectfully, honorably, lovingly, waited for one person to step up and maybe do the right thing. Have there been people that have supported? I suppose, yeah, there have been. But quite honestly, when you know that somebody's privacy is hacked or they're in danger and you turn your back on them, is that truly support or is that just self-serving actions? I mean, you have to ask yourself, quite honestly, you have to ask yourself, what has been your purpose and your role in all of this over the last 8 to 9 years? Have you really wanted to see me succeed and my family do better? Which perhaps a lot of you have felt that way. You know, a lot of friends, a lot of family members have probably felt that way. But at the end of the day, you allowed somebody's privacy to be tampered with. You allowed somebody to be put into harmful, dangerous situations. And at every step of the road, there was no one there to stand by me, to walk with me, to have my back. So what drives me? What drives me is not your judgment. Your judgment doesn't concern me. What drives me is my own purposes, my own desires, my own will. My will to live, because there's been many times where I thought I might not. And you don't have the right to cause that. You don't have the right to sit back and like some sort of money monger and hope for that. Do you know how many times that I heard, you should have been dead a long time ago? Trying not to swear here. But that is a big F you. You have no idea what kind of trauma you can cause in people. Now, like I've said before, luckily I am strong as hell. And if you can affect me, I can't even imagine what you've done to other people. And you should be ashamed of yourselves. There have been a lot of people that have supposedly been supportive, but at the same time, I'm walking this path by myself. So what drives me is the injustice. What drives me is the lack of humanity. What drives me is the inability to have privacy in the United States of America. Your programs are broken. Your systems are fucked up. I don't care how long, how many centuries, I don't care how many years, I don't care what your goals are. This has been the most intrusive, horrendous, scary, terrible ride that I have ever been on, and that nobody should ever go on. So you see, I know that a lot of you have been told a completely different narrative, a different narrative about me, who I am, who I have been in the past, my level of intelligence or lack thereof, mind you. A lot of the events that have occurred, the failures that I've suffered, the losses that I've incurred, financially, emotionally, relationally. I know that people that care about me have been told a completely different story than what the truth actually is. So I have been patient, completely patient, and waiting for the right time, because I think that patience is stronger than the lies. I really do. The only thing that truly got me through is the ability to be unpredictable in times where I'm being urged to not be unpredictable. But if I had been, I don't know that I would have been here. My car was targeted. My jobs were targeted. My finances were targeted. Every time I had a little bit of money, there was another program that was right there waiting for me to purchase. Not that I had to do it, mind you, but I was in a role where I thought that, I thought that there were people that were actually trying to help. But come to find out, that wasn't the case. Not really. I never really leaned on anyone most of my life, here and there. But for the most part, I counted on myself. And I was really hoping to have been able to protect my kids, my grandkids, gone back and got my grandkids, brought them with me, and started life all over again. And those years were stolen from me, and I'm not going to be able to get those back. I just think that in a country where we're supposed to be free of oppression, free of people watching every move we make. I don't know how things got so twisted and the narrative so obscure, where people think that they're doing the right thing, but at the end of the day, they don't realize the things that they're saying or the things that they're doing are not helpful in any way, shape, or form, not just for myself, but for others that are going through the same thing. God is the only one I've been able to trust in this whole process. I lean on God. I follow His word. Even if the people that are supposed to follow His word weren't following His word. And I knew it. I could see it. I could sense it every step of the way. You can't follow and then change your mind and find some little thing that makes it easy to turn your back on somebody. You're going against God's word. This is not what God intended for people at all. Not at all. Your programs, your secret societies, your apps, your corporate structure, all in the guise of spiritual enlightenment, your churches, your synagogues. You've all lost sight of the fact of what's true. And what's true is we are all souls here to evolve, to ascend, to become one with our Creator. not to be in competition, not to um, take out insurance policies on someone and hope they die, not to cause confusion or um, some sort of verbal salad in people's lives. I had to build my self-respect at a very young age, very young age. I had to do it on my own. I had to learn quickly. I had to read as much as I could possibly read. And I think that if I had not had the amount of self-respect that I do have, thank God, and thank, as much as I would not want to repeat, my childhood, it was not horrible, but it obviously had an impact on me. I wouldn't want to repeat it, but it also, I know that it helped build who I am. And that building helped me to not feel that shame that people wanted me to feel, not feel that that even though I was being disrespected, I still had my own self-respect, and I didn't need the judgment of others to be able to continue my path. And I want that for everyone, because the way that things have been twisted, and the way that the narratives have been shifted in people's lives, without self-respect, there wouldn't be survival. There just wouldn't. So I wish that everyone listening to me will spend time alone and build your self-respect, and build your kindness, and have things to fall back on. If one talent doesn't work, use another. If that talent doesn't work, have another. Have some backup plans. That's one of my mother used to say to me. You can do whatever you want to do, but have a backup plan always. And so my whole life was like that. I made sure that I always had an alternative plan. So, some of this was really harsh, and I do apologize that if you don't like swearing, I apologize for swearing, but I just feel like this country has gone completely astray. And when we start treating people as a possible bank for our own personal agenda, and we lose sight of the fact that they are a human being and that they might be suffering. And when you see something isn't working for years and years and years and years, you should ask yourself, what's really going on? So, is it underestimation that drives me? Not at all. I could care less what you think. What drives me is trying to build a better life for my family. What drives me is building a better life for me. And I'm at a loss now. I don't know how to accomplish all of the things that I had hoped to have accomplished. I think those days are sadly long past me. Anyway, until next time, my friends, keep healing.